Once upon a time, many years ago, there was a man who, upon meeting a friend in the streets of the kingdom, said, "Achoo!" And his friend, knowing the proper thing to do, of course, said, "Gesundheit." At exactly the same time, in a land far to the east, there was another man who also met a friend on the street, and he said, "Achoo!" His friend, too, knew the proper thing to say, for he replied, "Hello, Charlie. How's tricks?" Yes, Achoo was his name. Achoo had many friends. Achoo had great wealth because Achoo had the only Chinese restaurant in town that served salami pizza. Achoo also had a fine son who greeted him one night with a question.
"Honorable father, I should like to marry and settle down. May I have your worthy permission?"
I must have time to think on such a heavy question. I shall give you my answer in the morning.
Achoo was unable to sleep that night. He tossed and turned in his bed, fighting to make the decision. By sunup the following day, he had made up his mind and gave the answer to his son.
No.
"My father wise as boiled owl, but can he give one reason why I cannot marry?"
Yes.
"And that all being?"
To have a wife, one must have a house in which to put her.
"Then, inexhaustible son, we'll find a house."
Wasting no time, the young man set off to do just that. He had not gone far when he came to a great river, and there, standing on the bank, he met an old man.
I must cross this river, young youth. Help me, and I shall tell you a secret of good fortune.
Knowing that a secret of good fortune could very well aid him in his quest, the lad agreed. But it was a rougher trip than what the aged one had expected. However, he kept his promise and told the young man the secret.
Yes. Oh, honorable, hooray! What a fine secret!
Following the old man's instructions, the boy hurried off into the forest, where he soon found a grove of lychee nut trees. Picking up one of the lychee nuts that had fallen to the ground, he cracked it open. And with a blinding flash, a fine house popped out. A short time later, he once again stood before his father.
No?
No.
What excuse to being this time? Excitable son has a fine house.
Yes, but there is still one thing you need before you can marry.
Dollar to chicken fly lice, he say, a sweetie.
That thing is a sweetie.
You see? Honorable father, wait right here. Swift son, be right back.
Quickly returning to the grove of lychee nut trees, he selected the largest lychee nut he could find. Then, with a sharp rap, he cracked it open. And out popped the most beautiful maiden he'd ever seen.
Oh, hot diggy dog! What a being a sweetie if ever I see one!
This time, Achoo found no further objections and at last gave permission for his son to marry. The wedding was held and there was a great celebration. Achoo's son was now the happiest young man in the land, but it wasn't until after the wedding that he realized that his new wife seemed different somehow. For the first thing she did when he took her to his house was jump into a corner and stand on her head.
A big honorable pardon, but why is a former sweetie, present wife, a stand on head?
And she answered,
"Why not?"
Unable to think of a good reason, he let it go. It was some time later that the young man, while returning from the marketplace with his purse jingling with coins, met a robber. Oh, he knew it was a robber because the rogue wore a mask and very clearly said,
"Stick 'em up!"
Fearing for his life, the lad streaked for home with the robber in hot pursuit. Dashing into the house, he quickly told his wife,
Dishonorable bad guy after me. Oh, please, do not tell him. Frightened husband is hiding with money in cookie jar.
Go away, please. I cannot tell you that frightened husband is hiding with money in cookie jar.
Oh!
A short time later, the robber and the money were gone. His wife was again standing on her head in the corner, but he didn't bother to ask her why. Instead, he said,
It's very cold. I wish to warm myself. Please, cookie wife, start a fire.
She did. It was in the bedroom, and the house was burned to the ground. This was more than the boy could stand.
Ooh, if I live to be 22, never again will I get a sweetie out of a lychee nut.
It was then that his wife did the strangest thing of all. She began to bake fortune cookies over a small open fire. What was so strange about it was that when he broke them open, there were real fortunes inside.
Oh, diamond diamonds, rubies, gold, 1928 nickels, Wilkie buttons. I rich.
Yes, he was rich. And the more fortune cookies his wife baked, the richer he became. Of course, his wife still stood on her head from time to time, but the boy loved her, and he called her his bargain because she was 50% off. And they lived happily ever after. There once lived a king who almost became famous for inventing the game of golf. It occurred to him one day that it might be fun to strike a ball with a stick, so he did just that. The ball flew into the air, sliced, and fell into a deep thicket.
I goofed.
Each time he hit the ball, the same thing happened.
I goofed. I goofed. I goofed.
I beg your pardon, sire, but what is that you're doing?
Why, it's quite simple. I'm playing a round of goof.
He was close, but not close enough. He did, however, become famous for something else. It happened one morning as he was playing 17 holes of goof, when his ball, which sliced as usual...
If ever I catch the blockhead who broke my window,
I am the blockhead who broke your window, and you will what?
Your Highness, Well, I'll just have to say, you certainly are truthful.
The word of this deed spread through the kingdom like wildfire.
The king told the truth.
Yes,
we have a truthful king.
That wasn't all, for when the king said to the butcher...
I'm sorry that I broke your window, and I promise that I will pay for it out of the tax money.
Early the next morning, the...
Hear ye, hear ye! All butchers in this shop. It's time to pay the weenie tax.
Already, it seems like I paid the weenie tax just yesterday.
You did, but it's time again.
The butcher paid the king the 20-wrinkle weenie tax.
That is for the window I broke yesterday. The king kept his promise.
Kept his promise.
Kept his promise?
Thus it was that the king became famous. The king was very proud of this reputation, but it was soon to lead him into a tragic situation. For in the woods, just out of town, there lived an old witch who was the best evil witch in the land. One day, as she was in the woods walking her bat, she chanced to see the king who was out for his daily round of goof.
3!
And the witch fell in love.
Oh, boy, are you good looking.
Please, don't talk to me in my backswing.
That's a nasty slice you got there, but I don't care. I'll marry anyway.
What are you, a comedian or something?
No, I'm an ugly old witch.
I noticed that. Now go away. You're goofing up my goof game.
The witch knew that the only way she could get the king to marry her was by trickery. So, mixing a special brew, she was waiting when the king came out to play the following day. No sooner had she drunk the mixture when... she turned into a beautiful princess. When the king approached, looking for his goofball...
Pardon me, ma'am. Did you happen to see a... Boy, are you good looking?
I know. Do you want to get married?
Heck yes.
Promise?
I promise.
Happy as the king hurried her back to his castle to prepare for the wedding. Unfortunately, the spell that she had cast upon herself was a short one, and when the clock in the tower struck 12, the spell was broken.
Surprise, honey bun.
You. Oh, good grief, I'm a victim.
A handsome victim, and you still have to marry me because you promised.
It was true, for being the king who never broke a promise, he knew he was trapped. Quickly, calling a meeting of his royal advisors, he demanded that they find a solution to his problem.
There is only one way, Your Highness. You must get the magic wishbone from the Black Castle, but it will be very dangerous.
What kind of dangerous?
Well, you've got to defeat a dragon, a few ogres, you know, the usual thing.
Well, just tell me where to go. I'll do anything.
In less than an hour, the king was ready and on his way. The mere thought of having to keep his promise to marry the witch gave him the heart of a lion, and in less than 2 hours, he had defeated a dragon, an ogre, and a troll.
Hey, what's a big idea?
And a troll. Sighting the Black Castle, he dashed inside, and there, just as he had been told, he found the huge magic wishbone. He turned to his own castle just as his wedding to the witch was about to start.
Come on, sweetie. They're playing our song.
Wait a minute. Before we go, I want to make a wish.
A wishbone? How nice.
Ready?
Ready, honey bun.
They gave a tug. And just as it usually happens in fairy tales, the good guy got the biggest half.
I got my wish!
Good for you, honey bun. What did you wish?
I wish that I had never promised to marry you. So now I have never promised to marry you, and I don't have to marry you without breaking a promise, if you know what I mean.
As confusing as it was, she did know.
Why, you... Well, just for that, I'm going to cast a spell on you that folks will talk about for years.
And when the smoke cleared, she had disappeared. Well, now, it goes without saying that the king never made another promise. He played goof happily ever after. And one day, he even made a hole-in-one.
I goofed.
Once upon a time, there was a young prince who ventured into the woods in search of game. Somehow, during the course of the day, he became lost, for he found himself in a part of the forest where he had never been before. He was tired and hungry, and it was growing very late. Just then, he saw a light, and there, a short distance away, stood a great castle. Rushing up the path, he knocked on the huge door.
If you're selling weird story magazines, we don't want any. Go away.
Wait. I am a handsome prince who has lost his way. Could you spare a 32-course feast in a master bedroom for the night?
A prince? Well, in that case, come in. You're just in time for dinner.
Taking the lad by the hand, the king led him inside. When they entered the main dining room, the prince was shocked at what he saw. There were 7 chickens sitting around the table. And they, along with the king, proceeded to peck away at the dishes of corn that sat before them.
Eat, boy, eat. What's the matter? You haven't pecked a thing on your plate.
I'm suddenly not hungry.
Oh, that's too bad. Now, what's that, Florence? Oh, this is very funny.
What happened?
Florence just told a joke.
That's all.
Son, I'm glad you came along. I've got a problem.
Yes, I noticed that.
The king went on to tell the prince an incredible tale of how a witch had come to his castle one dark day and cast an evil spell that had turned all his loving daughters into chickens.
Oh, so that's it. Those chickens 7 are your daughters.
No, 6 of the chickens are my daughters. The 7th one is the witch herself.
And here comes the plot.
Right you are. The spell on my daughters cannot be broken until I can discover which of the 7 chickens is the witch.
Well, now, this is the sort of thing that all handsome princes wait for. The next morning, he got up with the chickens and set about his task.
It's no use, my boy. Chickens have a nasty habit of looking just alike.
Well, that's true, but they don't think alike. The one that's the witch thinks like a witch.
With a plan in mind, the prince soon had disguised himself as a beautiful maiden.
Your mascara is running, and what's the plan?
Simple. I pretend like I'm Snow White. There isn't a witch in the world that can resist a setup like that. Watch this.
Lining up the 7 chickens, the prince, in his Snow White suit, ran through the courtyard proclaiming to the top of his voice,
I am Snow White. I do so hope that any witch around here that is disguised as a chicken won't give me a poison apple.
None of the 7 chickens paid the slightest bit of attention. But an ogre that happened to be casing the castle did. He saw that this was a chance to cop what he thought was a fair maiden, which he wasted no time in doing. But just then, a handsome knight chanced to arrive on the scene and rushed to the rescue.
Never fear, fair beauty. I shall save you.
With that, the knight flew at the ogre. The prince was saved and his troubles were over. Almost.
Ah, fair maiden, you are truly lovely.
I know, but knock it off, knight. I'm not a maiden.
Your eyes, your lips, your...
Okay, you asked for it.
Ah, the lady has fire. Wait, dear one, wait, come back.
The prince was not used to running with the dress on, but he did manage to make it back to the castle well ahead of the pursuing knight.
What happened?
Never mind. Help me out of this fair maiden disguise before anything else happens.
But before they could do this, the 7 chickens came clucking into the courtyard and gathered round the prince to see what the commotion was.
Girls, not now. Go away.
The prince grabbed a broom and started swinging to shoo them away. All chickens being afraid of brooms, they scattered like, chickens. That is all but one. That chicken snatched the broom from the prince, hopped on, and flew it around and around.
Your Highness, look at that.
Must say I never saw a chicken do that before.
Of course not. Only witches fly brooms, so that's the chicken that is a witch.
The prince had guessed the secret, and the spell was broken. Not only did the witch turn back into a witch, but the 6 chickens were turned back into the king's beautiful daughters.
Party pooper!
My boy, you did it. As a reward, I'm going to give you a chest of gold and any daughter you wish to be your bride.
Heavens, it's going to be hard to choose. They're all so beautiful.
Unfortunately, however, before he could make up his mind, the knight, who still thought the prince was a fair maiden, galloped in and swept him off his feet.
Now, lovely one, you and I, we fly away together, up and away!
No.
Well, now, needless to say, the poor prince did not get the chest of gold, and he was never to get one of the beautiful daughters to be his bride. Of course, his mother had told him that there would be days like that, but she had forgotten to warn him about the nights. Once upon a time, there was a father who had 2 sons. One son, Swinburne, was very brilliant, but his other son, Maynard, was rather slow.
It's not so much that I'm smarter. It's just this terrible void in his makeup.
Don't tell me.
No. It's time you faced up to it, Maynard. You don't shudder. Everybody shudders at one time or another, but you, Maynard, oh no, you don't shudder.
Well, you'd better start shuddering, and darn soon. I'm not going to have any son of mine staying here, eating my food, who won't do the one thing I tell him to, which is to shudder.
I suppose you think I don't try. I put icicles down my back. I watch Thriller on TV. Nothing makes me shudder. I just don't possess that one noble emotion of man, fear.
Well, you're going to learn fear, and darn soon. I want you to spend the night with Oscar.
Oh, I say, you mean the man who lives in that deserted windmill with the bats? Ooh, that's spooky.
Look at your brother, Maynard. He's shuddering already. Now, why can't you be a good boy like him? Shudder a little.
So Maynard's father took him to the deserted windmill, where Oscar assured him that by the end of the night, Maynard would come home cured. Later that night, Oscar put on a sheet and started to moan. But instead of shuddering, Maynard pushed him down the stair.
You're right. He don't shudder.
Well, that does it. Out, Maynard, out.
So Maynard was driven from his home because he didn't know what fear was.
Gee, I guess Swinburne and Daddy are sitting down to dinner now. If I could only have learned to shudder, I'd be having dinner with them, too.
Did you say shudder?
Yes, I do not possess that 7th sense, fear.
Maybe you tremble a little.
Nope.
Get a little goose pimply?
Not a pimple.
Shake, hair stand on end, knees knack.
No.
I think you are just the kind of nut the king is looking for. He has a job for you.
How's the pay?
All the gold in the kingdom and his daughter thrown in to boot.
Sick leave, vacation pay?
No, but you can take as long as you like for coffee breaks.
Hey, I'll take it.
Do you see that big castle on the hill?
Uh-huh.
Well, the king lives in that shack right next to it.
Too much upkeep running the big place, huh?
Oh, no. But let's let the narrator explain that, shall we?
Oh, thank you so much, yes. Well, the fact of the matter was that the king was living in the shack because he was scared to death of a giant ogre who had taken over the castle and delighted in frightening the king.
Oh, there's no escaping that evil ogre. Just listen to my heart.
That's the door, sire.
If it's that ogre, I'm not at home.
It's another applicant, sire.
Hey, I understand that you got an opening that pays pretty well.
Oh, yeah. The job is to stay the night in my castle. You know, kind of a night watchman. If you can stick through the night, you can have all the gold in my kingdom and my daughter to boot.
And long coffee breaks.
Maynard took the job as night watchman and entered the huge castle.
Oh boy, maybe this is it. Maybe this time I'll shudder. Let's see. Pulse normal, respiration normal, heartbeat normal, mental attitude, boredom. Oh well. Oh, for me? Why, thank you. Oh, wait a minute. Wait, I got something for you. There you are.
Listen, Charlie, would you give me my head back?
Oh,
Yeah, now you done it. I got a nasty cold in the head.
Gesundheit. Gee, that's a shame, fella. I know how those summer colds can hang on.
But this is winter.
That's why you want to take care of it, or the first thing you know, zit.
But I'm too young to die. What did I do?
Try one of these 7-way cold tablets. You'll find relief just seconds away.
Ooh, I can't breathe again. I feel fine, and suffering did not upset my liver.
And because for the first time in the ogre's life he was in a dramatization, he turned back to his original form, which was a bunny rabbit, and was heard of no more. The king was able to move back into his castle.
And here, Maynard, is your pay.
Oh, thank you, sire, but I'm still a little depressed, like. You see, I didn't learn to shudder.
And here's my daughter to boot.
When Maynard saw the king's daughter for the first time in his life, he started to shudder. For you see, Maynard was afraid of girls. But all's well that ends well, because Maynard shuddered so hard that he invented a famous dance. In fact, if you look around, you'll find that people are doing it today. They call it the twist.